Hey guys, enter the stars, and it's Sunday, and things are progressing very quickly. So I wanted to do this Sunday show to give you an update on CV19. So what is going on with all this? Well, of course, the psychological operation continues to induce as many people as possible to get the sticker. Look at this headline here. This just broke Saturday. And basically what this is saying is last chance to win millions. And now we're just going to force everybody to get it. Because we tried to make you a millionaire, but because you were also selfish, we're just going to make you get it. And too bad. Sorry. I mean, who writes this stuff? This sounds like a third grade revenge letter to your parents for sending you to your room or something. Let's read this nonsense. The days of stickered lotteries are waning. Here come the mandates. Getting a sticker in summer 2021 could have given you a shot at $1 million. Soon, not just getting one could cost you your job. Notice the threat level on this. This is just crazy. Health officials and politicians have tried to stay positive in recent months as sticker rates plummet, turning to ad campaigns with giveaways and lotteries. And then the ultra-contagious Delta arrived. Now, because none of you listened, health officials say the nation's lagging sticker rates are creating a spiraling public health crisis. As the unstickered rapidly get sick and the protective power of the sticker is given a stress test. Where was all this information, a year ago? When the stickers came out, they weren't talking about those that didn't get it were going to have any effect on anybody else. Now, all of a sudden, we're the problem. We're giving it a stress test. I thought that if you got the sticker, you were protected. You shouldn't have to walk around worried about anything. Says a growing chorus of voices say people who resist the sticker should face pressure and consequences. And are we still living in America? Some hospital administrators agree, and healthcare workers who refuse to get stickered have been fired or quit. New York City public health workers who refuse to get stickered will face weekly CV19 tests. So this is going to be the new normal. Hey, if you don't want the sticker, well, that's okay, but we're just going to test you every single time we see you. I mean, nobody's going to want to agree to that. Now, there's a little bit of a loophole here because the reason why they're able to fire these nurses and doctors who refuse to get the sticker is because they already signed an agreement when they got hired on that they would get stickered. And I know this for a fact because before I could go into emergency rooms and operating rooms, when I was in pharmaceutical cells selling a mesh, I had to get stickered too. This was years ago. I've since gotten out of that industry, of course. But this is when I was asleep. And so, unfortunately, I had to go get stickered. And I told you guys what happened to me. I actually had severe seasonal asthma for like 5 years after that. So, this is what's going on. You sign up for this when you work in these, but they are trying to make it sound like this is across the board. And every employer can do this to you. And I just don't think that's the case. I think you got a good chance in court of fighting, especially if you didn't sign anything saying you would have to get stickered. But do you see how they're shaping the agenda here? They're shaping the narrative to make it sound like you don't have a choice. Let's keep reading. It said getting the sticker should be the easy choice. Opting out has to be the hard choice. So they're starting to get mean about this now. Here's an emergency room physician. She says, unstickered people aren't just risking their own health. They have a high likelihood of transmitting the virus, which endangers vulnerable people. Well, the people that want to be protected have the right to go do that if they want. So who are these vulnerable people? They're saying children. Well, what are the rates of children getting it? As far as I know, our own president told a girl in the audience she didn't have anything to worry about. The immunocompromised, Well, here's the catch-22 on that. They're told not to get the sticker. Or are they? What is the C to the D to the C saying about the immunocompromised? So, do you see how this works? If this thing was so safe, why are they saying certain people shouldn't get it? Multiple experts told USA Today that a virus circulating at high rates among the unstickered tests the effectiveness of the sticker. How does that work? Is there science behind that? It also increases the chance that even worse variants of the virus will arise. So, all of a sudden, there's all this new science. I didn't see any studies on this or anything. This is what they're saying. This expert is saying that sticker requirements should be seen as akin to laws against drunk driving and other reckless behavior. So this is the dialogue going on. Now, this goes on and on and on. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but understand that there's mounting pressure. Now, here's what's going on with the Army. Somebody sent this to me. This broke July 1st. This is Army Times. And they are preparing to make it mandatory as of September. So if you're in the Army or any of the armed forces, understand that this is also coming for you. Let's read. The Army has directed commands to prepare to administer mandatory stickers as early as September 1st, pending full F to the D to the A licensure, Army Times has learned. So this is probably going to be the catalyst. Soon as the FIDA approves this, that's probably across the board. It will start to become mandatory in different parts of our lives. The directive came from an executive order sent to the force by the Department of the Army headquarters. So, commanders will continue CV-19 sticker operations and prepare for a directive to mandate for service members on September 1st, 2021, pending full licensure. Commands will be prepared to provide a back brief or service member sticker status and way ahead for completion once it's mandated. So, the anaconda is slowly tightening its grip, ready to give the two fangs the two shots. Now, I want to end today's show with a few clips from a series that I've been decoding called The Rain. Now, we've done a couple of videos on how this series had pre-programmed anybody who watched it for the coming CV-19 spamdemic. Now, why do I say the coming spamdemic? Because the first 2 seasons of this show happened before the very first case, even in Asia. This montage that I have put together for you here is season 3, which aired after the spamdemic started in 2020. And here are some of the clips I captured. Now, I got the sound off because they're speaking a foreign language. And if you look on his shirt, he has the number 99. Now, on another episode of this, back in season 2, there was another boy with the 66 on his shirt, and he was the Apollo character. He's the main character, the first one that got infected with this virus in the series, and he decided he wanted to infect the entire world. And he takes over a lab called Apollon, A-P-O-L-L-O-N. And isn't it weird that the word polio or the word pollen have the base word of Apollo, right? Isn't that interesting? So there are 2 characters, one good, one evil. This guy is the Apollon character. He works or takes over Apollon, and I believe he's Apollyon, the Apollyon character. And then you have the other boy who's supposed to be the good side. Of course, they're both bad, but they always have to have the right-left paradigm. Here's the Apollon character, Apollyon, who takes over the lab, and basically decides he wants to sticker the entire world. But what ends up happening is because he's infected, he develops what Revelation refers to as the grievous sores all over his body. And I believe he's the Antichrist, the first white horse of the apocalypse in Revelation 6:2. Notice Revelation 6:2 numerically is 6:6, right? 2 sixes. And that's probably why Apollyon uses the number 66. Now here they have this pregnant woman, and she is forced to take the sticker against her will. And this is the future that they want for all of us. If they could, they would force us to take the sticker. Now, this symbol back here is the symbol for Apollon, the company, the laboratory in the series. And there it is. So, it makes it very interesting that the origins of the fortunes of the very president who brought us the sticker at warp speed were rooted in a place called White Horse. You can't make this up. In a place where women were sold for money. Let's read about the origins of the riches and fortunes of the T family. And read about White Horse. It's a very long way from the Yukon to any of the T-Man's glittering properties scattered across the major cities of the world, but that abandoned town site at the end of Chilkoot Trail is where the T Empire was born, in a makeshift restaurant patronized by thousands of Yukon stampeders. More than a century before the T-Man first coined his catchphrase, "You're fired," his grandfather carved out an opportunist fortune from the mayhem of the Klondike Gold Rush. Departed Seattle, which is where another one of the Antichrist figures is from, of course, for the Yukon in late winter 1898 when he was 29. Slight and dark-haired, thin-faced, dominated by broad handlebar mustache, he was already a worldly and business savvy young man. He'd arrived in the U.S. in 1885 at 16, the younger child of a German family who was too many mouths to feed. This goes on. He knew the hustle. In Seattle, he launched his first business, a late-night restaurant in a seedy part of town, and learned to navigate a labyrinth of saloons, opium parlors, pawn shops, and that word. Now, of course, you don't judge a man by the sins of his father, but it is interesting that the place that where all this started to go down is White Horse, just like the White Horse of Revelation 6:2. Says here, for a single man, the Arctic has excellent accommodations, as well as the best restaurant in Bennett, but I would not advise respectable women to go there to sleep, as they are liable to hear that which would be repugnant to their feelings, and uttered too by the depraved of their own. That word. Apparently it wasn't just T-Man's assortment of poultry dishes that brought in the crowds. In the spring of 1900s, the White Pass and Yukon Railroad was completed. Skagway and White Horse were now linked by rail, and Bennett Town was fading into the history books. But just as he had been in 1897, the T-Man was ahead of the curve. When the ice broke, he and Levin loaded their hotel onto a boat, floating it downriver toward White Horse. They disassembled the building before they hit the White Horse Rapids, then rebuilt it again in the booming new town. It could be a reference to the temple being destroyed and then rebuilt in 3 days. The new Arctic Hotel and Restaurant, in its second incarnation, was up and running on Whitehorse's Front Street by the time the first White Pass and Yukon Route train rolled into the station. The new Arctic Hotel. Trouble was brewing for the T-Man. Levin was increasingly unreliable. He ran up debts around town. On top of that, rumor around Whitehorse was that the authorities planned to crack down on all of the illegal activities. So, this is where the riches originated. The white horse of Revelation 6, carrying a crown and a mask or bow. Take care and be safe, you guys. See you tomorrow.